Morning. It's Friday the 22nd of February 2019 and I'm in Richmond again. I had a terrible time of it yesterday. I must have eaten something dodgy and paid for it. I'm feeling very drained, no energy at all. Well, I found Richmond Castle, but I haven't found my walking legs. The other option is to abandon and go home. Now, I'm here at Richmond to do a section of Wainwright's coast-to-coast walk from Richmond to Ingleby Cross, which is about 22 miles. We arrived yesterday afternoon. It was a beautiful afternoon and managed to film most of the bits around the town, so I'll just hang on while you watch those.
Well, you go your way, and I'll go mine.
Well, I found Richmond Castle again, and this time I've got my walking legs with me. Oh, ready? Finished? Let's get started then. There are a number of ways from the market square here down to the trail where it carries on over the bridge. This is the bridge the coast to coast takes. Now I'm back here today doing this just because there's a wedding in the family up the road tomorrow, and I took an extra day off work and came up and was really lucky with the weather. I mean, it's about 5 degrees. It's only 7:30 in the morning, but it's going to go up to about 14 or 15 degrees Celsius later today. So a really warm spring day, 22nd of February. The reason I'm here is because, if you've seen my other video, I was really ill, so I took a taxi across. Anyway, and it's bugged me ever since. It's always nagged away at me that I wanted to complete every single mile, you know. So here I am. I'm looking forward to the contrast between being a through hiker or a section hiker. I'm also looking forward to the contrast between red hot summer as it was in July last year and well, let's say mild February, but middle of winter. Although it's a pretty dull day in most people's eyes compared to the rest of the walk from coast to coast, from my point of view, coming back for a second time now, I'm interested in all of those contrasts, so I'll let you know what I think as I go along. It took about 45 minutes to get out of Richmond. It was a very nice walk. I didn't want to rush it, but just a few miles further on and we come to this river. Well, it's the Swale, of course, but it's beautiful. I've reached Colburn village, and this is the first time I've seen this kind of route diversion anywhere on the route. So I guess normally it would go down there, but it's pointing us up here. I'm about 4 miles in, and this used to be closed. This gateway used to be closed for a year or so, perhaps a bit more, because a bit further on the roadworks on the A1, and it previously, I've seen on some videos, took you on a detour which added at least a mile, maybe 2, but I'm happy to say that it's reopened again. In fact, I can see the old footpath closed sign, abandoned on the side. Just keep the roof on with a big weight, it'll be alright. Been following the river, but from quite an elevated height for a few miles till it's down there. This is the point where it crosses the noisy A1M. Hey-oh. Well, I'm down at on the north bank of the Swale, a lot lower down than I have been so far, and about 5.5 miles in at Catterick, and now the ground starts to level out. That first 5.5 miles from Richmond to here is a really good walk. It's really good. There's lots of undulations in the terrain, long distance views with the sound of the Catterick guns from the garrison in the background all the time. So it's quite a dramatic exit to Richmond, and I can fully recommend a visit to Richmond, even if you're not doing the coast to coast. Great place to visit. I've reached Bolton on Swale. That's about 7 miles now. This monument here, about 18 feet tall. It was erected by contribution in 1743 to the memory of Henry Jenkin. Now, that's not so remarkable. It doesn't say his birth date, and I can't remember it right now. I'll put it on the screen, but it's extraordinary. You make up your own mind. Refreshments in here for coast to coasters. Tea, coffee, a place to sit, a visitor's book. Very nice, just make a contribution. I didn't originally plan to stop there at the church, but just pass through, but so inviting to have a cup of coffee and a sit down, table and chair. So I did. About 8 miles in now, and finally popped out onto the lanes that everybody talks about in this section. But to be quite honest, I'm quite glad of a bit of lane walking now. As you can see, there's no traffic on them, it's quiet, just the sounds of the countryside. And the sun's come out now, so it's a good job I bought my Yorkshire sun hat. Look at this, it's real swamp, Yoda country, the Dagobah system. So that's about half an hour of lane walking. Haven't seen a single car, and come through that nice woodland and to this crossroads junction, and this signpost tells me that it's just 4 miles to Danby, Wiske. So on we go. So because it's a day hike for me today, I didn't bring my water filter, and also I'm going across the Vale of Mowbray, which is very flat, so there are a few water sources, but it's not really fast flowing water, standing water or puddles or swamps or trickling streams, so you don't really want to be drinking that stuff. So I've carried 3 litres of water with me today, which was a good decision. It means I don't have to waste time filtering water, and I can just nick as much as I want and carry on going. About 10 miles in now. I'm about 3 miles outside Danby Wiske, and it's going really well. Beautiful day. Big steaming pile of sheep. Look at this, the whole field is looking at me. That was surreal. There was a moment where I stopped to check the map and stood still, and I looked up, and there, 180 degrees, about 200 sheep all pointing towards me and staring at me. I've reached Danby Wiske, and there's the white swan. I'm 13 miles in here at Danby Wiske, and about 6 hours. It's time for a tea break. It's about 1:30 on a Friday in February, and I thought this looked a bit close, so on closer inspection, have a look at this. Winter opening times. Friday open from 5:30, but look at the other days as well. So if you're planning to do this in the winter, then bear that in mind. Well, that was a very nice lunch break. Stop at the village green in the sunshine, in my base layer, in the middle of February. It's about 14 or 15 degrees, and if you're going all the way to Robinson's Bay, it's another 60 miles. There was a fast, busy road I just crossed back there. You have to walk along it for about a quarter of a mile or so, and it pops out right by a garage. And they must have seen me coming across the fields, because when I popped out up onto the pavement, the mechanic came out and said, "Well done, mate, first one of the year." He was pleased to see me, and he cheered me right up. So I enjoyed the chat for a minute or so, and yeah, if you're watching, thanks for that. That cheered me right up. I'm back out onto another lane now, and I've got to say, I think the mix of cross country, across the fields, through little bits of woods and copses and things, and then out onto the lanes, is all right. You know, it's not too monotonous. It's not like you're doing 25 miles on a dead straight road. You know, it's people are too easy to complain, but I'm having a cracking time. This is a great walk. The next turn off, down past Moor House, is down this track, and you can just see in the distance, you can see the ridge for the next day up into the North Yorkshire moors. It's 3 o'clock. I'm about 17 miles in now, and I'm just coming up to the farm called Ray House, where that novelty crossing is, with a witch's broomstick and cackling laughter when you tread over the stiles. It used to be here, this novelty crossing. I've seen it on other people's videos, but I'm either in the wrong place or it's been removed. Oh, even though it's corny, I'm a bit disappointed. The walk has been more enjoyable than I was expecting. Everybody seems to complain that it's a dreary walk and there's nothing to look at, but I find quite the contrary. There's lots of things to look at and see. So I'm certainly not going to complain about that, but I can't really compare winter and summer because, as you can see, the weather has been beautiful today, and it's really a spring walk. It just happens to be February the 22nd. Comparing being a section walker, one day walker, compared to a through hiker, the obvious things first is your kit's quite different. You've got to carry everything obviously on a through hike, all of everything you need for night time and daytime, and you want to keep the weight as light as possible. On a day hike, of course, you can just forget most of the stuff and just take whatever clothes you need to suit the weather. And obviously I didn't need very heavy winter gear for today. I just needed lots of food and water. So that's the pack. Drop off point and pick up point is a little more difficult. You've got to sort that out. Someone's got to help you, or you've got to get public transport. Doing a day hike, it's almost as good, but it's not quite as exciting. It's not quite as much of an adventure as it all is when you do a long distance walk over many days. There's something missing. I'm not quite sure what it is. Maybe it's just that you're not putting one day after another on top of another. So perhaps it's to do with the achievement. Perhaps it's to do with the challenge part of a through hike. But nevertheless, it's been really enjoyable today, and I'm really glad that I've been able to see the scenery that I missed before. And in my case, I'm now going to complete it from one end to the other totally. And I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I came back to complete it. I've been really lucky, and it's rounded it off very nicely. Here I am again, the mad A19 crossing, and it's a lot busier today. That was nuts. That's flipping dangerous, that crossing. I had to wait for ages for a gap to come, and even then I had to run across. Well, I've nearly finished now. I'm just coming into Ingleby Cross, a few hundred yards. In the end, it was 21 miles in about 9 hours, so that's okay, that's pretty good. And there it is, Ingleby Cross and the Bluebell Inn. The end of the walk. It was nice to get here last time, and it's nice to get here this time as well. Okay, see you on the next one.